Hello, glad to have you here. It's a new year, so let's start off with something to make you think. So, what are the differences? Today we're going to talk about, have a conversation around what are the differences between old school tactics and new school strategies. And we're going to talk about today mainly old school. And let's just see where we go with that. So, as you're hopping in, please let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know how your holiday was. Just interesting to me because, we're all having some difficulties with, the stuff we're walking through. And, I just want to know how your time went. And, yeah, mine went okay, but it was a little dicey for a minute, with some things that, I hadn't planned on because of the company that I ended up involved with, and what have you. But anyway, so yeah, just let me know. And let me, first of all, because I will get started and forget to introduce myself, so I'm going to do that first. But today we are primarily talking about the old school uh, things, tips, and tactics that I used when I was building old school. And I'd love it if you chime in with some of the things, if they're familiar, or if you have something totally different, that would be great. So, my name is Cherie Woodard, and I help business builders and entrepreneurs to be able to come online and use social media to find prospects, leads, and sales. And I do that in a variety of ways. I use attraction methods, attraction marketing, which is basically attracting those to you that you want to help, those people that you really have a heart for. I also help with finding where those people might be found, or telling you where those people might be found, or showing you or giving you some information in that area, as well as video. Live video is a really big thing, so I like to have that in there. And just, because I like doing this, I like being able to come on live and be able to share who I am. You can see me, you know I'm not a bot, so on and so on. So those are the things that I do using updated, modern tips and strategies to help you to be able to get where it is that you want to get, and to be able to connect with those people that you really want to help. So that is basically it. That's what I do. And I want to say, for those people that may be new with me, we are not really allowed to say what business building is, but it's those it's the ones where we're talking about, um, everybody is your prospect, which is some of the stuff that I'm going to go over. And but just know that we're not allowed to use the title of our industry because it's got such a bad rap. And that's one thing that I'm hopefully hoping that in the long run, we're going to change that, and we're going to make it what it should be, an awesome profession, because that's what it is. I love this industry. And there's no other industry that I know of that you can just jump into and be able to, do well and provide for your family, and, do the things that you want to do, live the life that you want to live. So, when we're talking about, I'm going to get a little water here, throat's a little dry. But when we're talking about old school, now I have been in the industry for about maybe a little over 20 years. And it was off and on, it was a side hustle because I worked as a registered nurse for about 40 years, something somewhere along there, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. But that's what I primarily did, but I needed to have a little bit more to be able to take care of and give my kids, what I thought they needed and wanted. And so I decided that I would try this side hustle, which was introduced to me by, another nurse that I knew, and then that's how it started. And when things weren't going well, which I was not really successful. I wasn't really getting anybody. It was hard to get people to look at what it was that I wanted them to look at, or, whatever. But, I finally figured out that over that time period of 20 plus years, that this was just not something that was going to work for me, especially within the last, I would say, 5 to 6 years. I found out that I just couldn't leave my kids at home, and they were young at the time, and I just, was not gonna be leaving them, at home. I figured I had to find a better way. But the reason was because of some of the tactics that I was told to use. Now, and please, like I said, jump in, drop a comment, I'll, answer your question, your comment, your opinion, whatever. But for me, old school was everybody is your customer. Everybody. Everybody wants what you have. Everybody and anybody. And it's more like I felt like I was not really being straight with people when I would strike up a conversation, because I would strike up that conversation and know that I had an ulterior motive. I want to be able to just be able to uh talk to people, and I do that all the time. I'm like my mom met no strangers. My brother meets no strangers. I don't meet strangers. I just start talking, especially if we're in line or something at a in a grocery store or wherever, or even if I don't know, I just do, But I found that I got to where it was stressful for me to do it, because I had this ulterior motive of I wanted to, as soon as I got their attention for a second, I wanted to pull out what I had and say, have you ever thought about such and such? And this is really a great product, and you can't do, without it. It's one, yada, 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 yada. So for me, building that way was more about me. It was more about seeing people as dollar signs. It was more about getting where I wanted to go, with no thought of those people, which really, it's not my personality. It's not me. And I just had to learn, like I said, a different way. I remember some of the things that I did, and I wonder about you. Like I said, please, drop it if you can, and be feel free to, if you can't, you might be listening, but you're busy, and so you can't, comment or do whatever. And the same thing as if you're catching this on the replay, you may not be able to chime in. Oh yeah, I used to do this. Oh yeah, I got tired of doing that, or whatever, but I'm just going to share my part of it and some of the things that I did. Like, one of the companies, and I've been with a few companies. So one of the companies I got with, which was, I think it was the last company I was with, I, was listening to the guy who was he said he was the number one marketer. He could sell anything, yada yada yada. And so he was giving advice, online. So I was listening, and I ended up buying all this stuff, and and it's still here because the company ended up changing their name, which is their right because I don't own anything, right? I mean, I don't own, any of the people that if I got any, I don't own in my down, can't say down. I don't own any of those people that I brought in. You know, they're not mine. It's not my business. It's the business of that I'm joined under. And if I choose to leave, then I leave with nothing. And that's just kind of the way it was. And so, as this guy is telling me all these things, and I buy all of this stuff, I bought the glossy, nice flyers that cost a bundle and took forever to come. And then shortly after I'm, like out there, I'll tell you this one really quick story. I was out there on Saturdays and Sundays, primarily Saturdays, and I would go out to different neighborhoods and I would go to the parking lot of stores, drugstores, and I just started, putting my flyers in, I was told specifically in the driver's side window so that they see it immediately when they come back and they're going to be overjoyed. And no calls ever came. And so I remember one day I'm trying to, I go to stick this glossy, expensive flyer in the man's window, whoever's window, I don't know, man, female, I don't know whose car it was. But as I put it in there, it dropped down in and I was like, oh, they're not going to be able to see it. It's down in their car, slid down in the window. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I put it in wrong. And so I tried again. I must have did that about 3 times. And then I was like, well, maybe what am I doing wrong? And finally, as I tried one more time, the fourth time, it just went straight down. I was like, okay, I got to get away from here. What if somebody walks up and they belong to this car and they're like, what are you doing? And then they go and they find all of these things down inside their window when they roll up their window. And I don't know, let it down, roll it up. Then all of a sudden this stuff, I was like, I gotta stop. I need to get out of here. So I went, jumped in my car and, just kind of drove to another parking lot. And not only did it happen there, but it also happened in a few other parking lots at the stores or whatever, grocery stores and what have you. It was just so embarrassing, because it was nice out. And so there were people about. And I just felt so embarrassed because I'm trying to get these stickers where I was told to put them. I didn't, and they said, don't put them on people's windshields or that's what I was told. Don't put them on people's windshields because that makes people angry and irritated. But if you put it on the driver's side door, then they'll probably just take it off and look at it, read it, and then give you a call later. Long short of it is that didn't happen. So I found that I didn't want to continue to do that and going to meetings and leaving my kids at home in the evening. So it's like, I'm doing all this stuff, trying to during the day, and in the evening, I'm going to these house parties and meetings. And it just got really frustrating to leave my kids at home by themselves to fend for themselves because they were still relatively young. And, you know, uh, it just didn't work. And it didn't work for me. And I don't know about you. I'll check later for your comments or questions or your opinion, but it just did not work for me. So all of those things that were the old school tactics of, like I said, everyone and anyone is, out there for you. They want what you have. And I found none of that. I just found none of it. And it was so frustrating because I had put out this money and I wasn't getting any results from it. And so it was pretty frustrating, upsetting, and actually made me feel kind of sick especially some of the things. So tomorrow we will talk about, because I want to be respectful of your time. But tomorrow we will talk about new school and those strategies, and see what the difference is, because I was out for looking out for me. I was looking out for my family. I wasn't really looking out for the people that I was, trying to sell to or trying to push stuff on or whatever. And so we'll stop there for today and pick it up tomorrow, talking about the new school strategies that I learned and how different that is and how much I like that. So I'm going to go on and get off. I hope you had a good celebration as you, oh, it's over here. That's actually, let's see, this is actually strings from my, because this is a backdrop. These are strings from my balloons that I have up here on top of my little thing that holds my green screen. So I just love balloons, so I left them up close. I wanted them close to me. I got them for my birthday, and my birthday was December 31st. So it was too fun, and so I'm just enjoying having them until they decide that they're gonna die on me. But that's okay because it was awesome. So take care. Talk soon. Tomorrow, remember, we're gonna go over some things about new school strategies, and we'll have a talk about that. So take care. Have a great one. Talk soon. Bye.